secure another victory here and give themselves a chance at least of making tomorrow's final at Loughborough University Stadium. I'm joined by Ollie Sassam, and Ollie, you've seen a bit of Stellenbosch over the last couple of days. What can we expect from them?
Yeah, no, it's been a real honour actually to watch this side play from South Africa. They really impressed in their first match, in particular their opening 10 to 15 minutes just before they got their first goal of the tournament. One of only two, despite many efforts. And I think one thing, if they want to improve and go further in this tournament and perhaps win as well, which I'm sure is their aspiration after falling short at the final hurdle last year, they need to be more clinical with their chances. But no, shape-wise, formation, everything seems to be absolutely perfect. They're just struggling to get the ball in the back of the net, and as we know in football, that's what matters in the game. But their clean sheets are proving so vital to them as well in their bid for the final.
Yeah, they've got a couple of 1-0 victories to their name in the two outings they've had thus far over Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa, and that's been enough for them to secure a place in the final on Sunday. They are going to be the best ranked team of all the overseas outfits. They're on 6 points. Muthoot FA are on 1 point. They got a penalty shootout victory. And Punjab and East Bengal yet to register a point. Of course, they're in action today and they'll have a chance to get themselves on the board. And they'll want to play in the more prestigious playoffs tomorrow. There's a 3rd place playoff, a 5th place playoff and a 7th place playoff. But it is Stellenbosch that we'll see in the final, and Crystal Palace still have a chance to make it themselves. It is unfortunate for them that they didn't take maximum points yesterday. Did lose that shootout to Muthoot. So Everton were able to capitalise, and it's them who sit atop the table on 8 points. So if they take maximum points later on against Punjab, then there's nothing Palace can do, but they want to put the pressure on the Toffees, take 4 points from this one, and then they'll see what happens to Everton, who have the superior goal difference as well.
Yeah, it's a shame actually, Ben, that we perhaps haven't managed to see Stellenbosch play against a side from India who have looked quite impressive themselves. Despite not managing to get any points on the board, they are playing against really difficult opposition. So perhaps Stellenbosch may feel a bit unlucky in the terms of the format, but I think they're thriving playing against these English sides as well.
Absolutely, and we've got Grant Ebokwe, who's joined by the Stellenbosch coach Evangelos Velias.
Hi guys, it's Grant Ebokwe. I'm pitch side before the Stellenbosch match, and I'm with the head coach Evangelos Velias. How are you this morning?
Grant, nice, thanks for having me. Yeah, very good. Obviously we've had a nice couple of days, so yeah, just excited to get it going again, and hopefully we can keep the good momentum we've had.
Talking about the momentum, 2 wins out of 2 and a place in the final staring you in the face. How do you keep your players' feet on the ground, balanced with the excitement of potentially reaching the Next Gen Cup 2024 final?
Yeah, man, it's amazing. Sometimes we pinch ourselves, you know, is this really happening? You know, just a humble club, 6 years old from Stellenbosch, you know, so God's been good to us, you know. So yeah, for us it's just, we've got this game, you know, we've got 16 infield players that need to rotate. So they still need to get the minutes in the legs, you know, we've got to try and freshen them up, keep them as healthy as possible for tomorrow, and then tomorrow will take care of itself, you know. So today, tell these boys, you know, how often do you get an opportunity to enjoy this type of environment against this type of opponent? So they'll be up for the game, and yeah, I'm excited to see how they get on.
Now, just observing your matches, there's so much passion and so much intensity, which can sometimes spill over. I saw some of the players arguing at some point. Even though you were winning, there's still that passion and they're still arguing. Like, how do you, as young players, just let them sort of figure it out versus when you need to step in? Like, how do you sort of balance that?
Yeah, we spoke about it today. You know, I think there's always the danger that players feel like they're getting called out in a stage like this where the eyes are on them, you know. And I've just cautioned them against that, you know. These boys have been through a lot together over the years, especially last season, winning our national league in back home. It was really tough. We had to overcome a lot. So I was just asking them, you know, to just get over this and be less selfish, if I can put it that way. Play more for the team, and then it's easier to absorb criticism or difficult call-outs in the game, you know. So I just told them, like, you've just won 2 games and you've played really well, you know. Moments where the opponents were in control, and moments where we're in control, we created chances. Exciting brand of football. People are happy to watch us, to have us, so there should be no reason to be upset, you know.
Now, I have to ask you about the penalty shootouts. You've had 2 and you've lost 2, unfortunately. Have you had a chance to watch it back and sort of figure out maybe what you want to do differently ahead of the 3rd penalty shootout?
I think, again, like, I think maybe the boys are overthinking it again because of, I mean, you can imagine the stage, what they must be going through. And it's great for their development, and they're going to play in bigger stages. So it's part of their preparation. But right now, this is the biggest stage for them. So maybe a little bit of overthinking, maybe a little bit of a changing the stuff. We did prepare for these. So I just told them, just back your preparation, you know, like, do what you've done, and I'm just proud of them that they step up, you know, that they go take the penalties. And maybe, you know, thankfully we haven't needed those wins, but I just told them, let's keep preparing, because who knows, in the final it could come down to that.
Good luck today in your match. I'm going to throw it back to Tyler in the gantry, and very good luck.
Email was asking.
Thank you, Grant, and very interesting to hear Evangelos there. Ollie talking about discipline. That's something you've noticed been a key part of their game so far?
Yeah, Ben, I have. Not massively, and it's not crept in too much, but you can understand the passion, and you actually love to see it. It's just a shame sometimes that's how it's manifested. You'd think they'd be all run out and tired by the amount of pressing they've done in this competition so far, but it's just a testament to how much this means to the young players. Playing in England, playing for such a pristine and esteemed trophy. So, of course, tensions are going to be high. I think it's at that young level where you need to learn how to stay cool-headed in times of potentially tense moments.
Absolutely, and we've seen them singing and dancing as they make their way out of the changing rooms this week. Doesn't matter if it's been a 10 a.m. start, they've been full of energy, full of life. And very interested to see how they approach this, because they know that their place in the final is confirmed. So wonder if we might see 1 or 2 key players rested as this one goes along.
I'm not sure they will. You know, Ben, I understand that it's really, really tiring, this competition, obviously playing games back-to-back days constantly, but they would have had a rest now, quite a long rest in the context of this competition and how tight games are to each other. So I'm sure they're feeling rejuvenated. And as you say, playing in the final tomorrow, they have 24 hours, 25 hours in fact, considering the 4 p.m. local time kickoff. So I'm sure they want to get their best players minutes, get the players they're thinking are going to be crucial off the bench, that experience as well to come into in-game situations and see this as a training match now.
Indeed, and Crystal Palace have been one of the sides that have made a lot of changes from game to game rather than during each game. We saw Punjab making lots of adjustments in the first half and the second half and using the roll-on, roll-off effectively, but the teams are now making their way out to the pitch for this final group match for both sides. Stellenbosch will be at Loughborough tomorrow. Crystal Palace would love to join them there. This could be a dress rehearsal for the final. Everton, of course, the favourites at the moment to make it there, but Palace will look to put the pressure on.
Yeah, no, you speak about potentially a dress rehearsal. We thought that yesterday as well in commentary at the 10 a.m. kickoff between Villa and Stellenbosch. Both sides had a really, really strong start. It was 4 points for Villa, obviously. Stellenbosch only managing the 3 in their first match, and same again against Villa. So, as confident as English sides may be going in against these international sides, Stellenbosch have shown especially that there's a real guile, a real panache to their style of football, and it's not going to be such a walk in the park as they may have expected.
Absolutely. Seen some very competitive games, and we'll bring you the squad news. Starting with the English side, who line up as follows. It's Marcus Hill, Finlay Marjoram, Freddie Cowan, George King, Sean Samade, Charlie Walker-Smith, Cormac Austin, Sebastian Williams, Caleb Redhead, Malteo Dashi and Joe Gibbard, Tyler White, Joseph Koshiba, Dean Benema, Jerome Massey, David Montgen, Kyrese Adams-Coleman, Enrique Lameras and Benji Casey. And for Stellenbosch, it's Dijon Ashin, Shakir Ahmed, Rajul Pillay, Tylon, Simthandil Sishi, Zenden Bell, The Major, Ethan Felix, Kuan Plates, Kyle Bailey, Roy Keane Avante, Keenan, Tyler Chiquero, Vilawetu Andreas, David Passman, Liam Slade, Cheswin Falanda and Jean Topley.
Well, interesting, we spoke about potential switches and maybe resting a couple key players. That's exactly what Stellenbosch have done with their captain, Ahmed.
So, Stellenbosch can play with a bit of freedom, but they'd love to make it a perfect 3 from 3 as far as the regulation 50 minutes is concerned. And Grant Ibokwe did ask Evangelos Velius about the shootouts, because that's the area where they've perhaps fallen short, and final could of course come down to penalties tomorrow. They won't have the obligatory shootout after each of those games, but of course they will have them if needed, if the games are drawn. But we will have a shootout after this one regardless. Bonus points could be crucial, especially for Crystal Palace, who need to take all 4 points here really, if they're gonna have any chance of reaching Loughborough. But it's Stellenbosch who are looking to launch the first attack, with Avontier chasing that one down, not quite quick enough to get there.
No, but it was the right idea. Stellenbosch, we've seen like to go direct and run with the ball, and they've got real pace in the wing, especially with Avontier and the Major this time. And Bailey's played more centrally to begin with, which will be a very interesting change to see, because he's been so potent and so dangerous on the wing with his speed and ability to cut in from the flank. So Avantier's got some big shoes to fill from the start.
Crystal Palace also love to use their fullbacks. It was a real theme of their first 2 games. Benji Casey playing up front today. He did come on yesterday and register an assist. He'd love to get on the score sheet this time around. Been good from the penalty spot, Casey, in the shootouts. As it's now picked up by Benema, who provided the assist for Palace's first goal of this competition, as he found Marjoram, who's not in from the start this afternoon.
Yeah, no, if Palace are going to want to try and chip that ball over the back line of Stellenbosch, they're going to have a bit of trouble today in this afternoon's fixture.
Bailey, racing clear. He's been forced rather wide there by Samade, who did well to get back in and prevent Bailey from getting the shot off.
Samade's going to have to do that a lot, and White's going to have to help him out down that left-hand side in particular. When you've got Bailey coming in from the left, as well as the Major, they're 2 danger men for Stellenbosch. So it's going to be a real battle, I think, for those more attacking-minded players. They're going to have to think a bit more defensively today and think it quickly.
Wasn't the best delivery, but he will get a second chance. Twisting and turning. And it's into a decent area, and almost came for Philander there. Good early start from Stellenbosch, who haven't been afraid to go toe-to-toe with these Premier League academy sides. And they've stolen it high up the pitch again here with the Major. They want offside, Palace. They don't get it though. Ball into the box, not the cleanest. Palace, who dominated both of their Indian opponents. Under the cosh a little bit here. And again, the ball came across towards Philander. He's making a nuisance himself in the box.
Well, this is what they're not used to, Crystal Palace, but it's exactly what they're used to, Stellenbosch. They love to press, and they're so effective in doing so. Palace, like most English teams, want as much time on the ball as possible, as you see here. But you're not afforded that by this Stellenbosch team, and they're going to really have to learn, because they're going to be pressed up until their own box, and this halfway line is definitely going to become a territory marker for Stellenbosch.
Scott Williams showing for it there. Sebastian Williams. He's been one of the standout players for Palace, imposing figure in the middle of the park. Samade now gliding forward and looking down the line for Gibbard. Again, it just runs out of play. We've seen both teams attempt to go down their right flanks and play direct. Benamar went up. Would come for Dashi, but again, Stellenbosch pick up the second ball, and it's attempted as a wide ball. Goalkeeper put under a bit of pressure there. Benamar has some grass in front of him now. Never needs a second invitation to get forward, but he's got more to think about defensively this afternoon. Here's Casey. Benamar is making the overlapping run. Instead it's Dashi. Out it comes to White. And across the face. Well dealt with by Stellenbosch. Plenty of bodies back to deal with that.
Exactly what Tylon would have wanted. He loved being involved in the action as a centre-back himself, and he's so good at reading the danger and cutting it out emphatically, and he's done it again for his side. It's been a real theme of Stellenbosch, but also of the tournaments.
Just misjudged slightly there. Benamar unable to keep that one in. But you're starting to see him now more as an attacking threat as we move past the 5-minute mark.
No, definitely, but he's got to control that, Ben. He's got to do better when that ball comes into him and take advantage of the fact he's not facing Ahmed. That's a real bonus today for the English sides.
Yeah, Stellenbosch definitely resting one or two, understandably, but they still carry plenty of firepower, a lot of it coming through the major, who dances his way through. Samade makes the tackle, but territory gain there. Stellenbosch. Here's Sishi. Tylon. Slade left that one for Avontier. Lovely crossfield ball. Kept in, but in fact not kept in. Linesman's flag does go up. So Stellenbosch lose a bit of their momentum.
But they don't mind not having possession, Stellenbosch, and that's what's so great about them. They can play with fluidity, fast-paced football. They can play it direct, but they're so comfortable to play on the counter-attack as well.
Williams there showing his passing ability. Tyler White, who has big shoes to fill at right back. Finlay Marjoram was excellent going forward himself from the right side of the fence in their first victory. Here he is again, White. Austin. And now Walker-Smith. Just showing some patience here, Palace. Again, White is the one they look to find. He was just looking for the run of Casey, but that one's cut out, and here comes some of that counter-attacking threat that you talked about.
That's brilliant defending by White. You've got to track these men man for man every step of the way, because otherwise they're going to be gone in a flash, and Bailey is a key example of that. So White needs to keep that up for the remainder of the game, really, and it's going to be tough for him physically on the third day so far of the Next Generation Cup.
Bit of space now to deliver the cross, but only really Ilander was lurking. Plenty of numbers back for Palace. It will come again though, through Bailey. Diminutive figure, playing just off the front. White doing his best to stop the cross here. But it does come in, dealt with by Samade. Decision goes the way of Stellenbosch.
Yeah, White just needs to keep at it. He can't be disheartened if the likes of Bailey, the Major, even Chico do get past him once or twice, because he started this game really well. And I'm sure if he's watched replays and clips of previous matches, he'll see how difficult opponents they are. So he's got to keep his head up with the start he's made and stay mentally strong.
The decision goes Stellenbosch's way on that far side. Both sides seeing plenty of the ball. Seen some only one side of the fairs this week, where particularly the Indian sides have sat deep and looked to absorb the pressure and play on the counter-attack. That's stolen by Dashi, but Stellenbosch again tenacious in their defensive work.
Imagine being so confident in your defensive ability, you can claim that throw on so nonchalantly. It's been brilliant this tournament, Tylon.
Williams stepped in there, having to do a bit more defensive work than he has been used to this week.
I think that applies to most of the sides, most of the players, sorry, in this Crystal Palace side.
Yeah, we've just reached, or about to reach, the 10-minute mark. Remember, the clock does stop when the ball goes out of play. That's why we're only having 25-minute halves. So you might still see games that last the best part of 90 minutes. The shootout obviously adds more to that, as space has opened up on this near side for Avancer. Just couldn't quite navigate a route to find him though, Stellenbosch.
Williams can't take that much time on the ball, but Walker Smith bailed his team out there because the Major just get control of the ball so easily. Really, there wasn't enough pressure, enough physical force against him. And Avancer, he'll be making those runs as long as he's on this pitch. So Walker Smith's anticipation there was superb.
White. Cross just cut out, but a corner for Palace.
Glad to see him back in his element. Ben as well, just attacking a bit more down that right-hand side, not being drawn back by the Major and Chico, who do like to get up the pitch themselves. It's going to be uncomfortable for him, but he needs to capitalise on those moments, don't you think?
He does, and Palace got a couple of dangerous aerial threats here. One of them being Samade, and he just didn't quite get the contact on it he was looking for, and perhaps a chance for Stellenbosch to punish that. Palace getting plenty of bodies back, and again it's White defending well against the Major that time, going into the game, the right back.
Yeah, no, good defending this time. Good counter-attack as well. Bailey released the ball at the right time, and Major really quite in disbelief that he'd been tackled in such a position. It's quite uncharacteristic, but real credit to Palace. It shows perhaps they can keep up and match this Stellenbosch side stride for stride, which the other English sides have struggled to do so far.
Yeah, Palace yet to concede a goal at this event. Casey.
That makes 2.
Absolutely. Casey again gets it back from Benamar. And good hold-up play in the end from the Palace striker. And we are going to see the first change for Stellenbosch as Topley replaces Avontier. Looks like there might be an issue for Tylon.
This is a real worry, Ben, for Stellenbosch, a real worry.
Yeah, looks like he's holding his groin, which doesn't usually spell good news.
No, not at all. He's been a staple of this side so far in the tournament, and we were talking about it with some of the camp yesterday and again today. They really believe he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, they're going to use this opportunity to take the drinks break. It is a warm afternoon. It's been warm all week, really.
He's still asking about the throw on. His mind's still on the in-game play despite his pain. And that's the sign of a true warrior. And that's almost what their song and dance pre-match symbolises.
Yeah, I did wonder if he was holding his groin, but I think he's actually holding something else, which suggests it was more of an impact situation than a muscle pull.
Yeah, the smile's out. It should be okay.
Yeah, it's never pleasant, but I'm sure he'd rather have that than a muscle injury, which would have spelt the end of his week.
Yeah, you can see there's a bit of animation currently on the bench and sideline at the water break for Stellenbosch. They're just trying to guide their players in the right direction. By this time in each match, they've been 1-0 up, Ben, so unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, and just behind us, you can see Tottenham have scored. It's not been an exemplary week for them. They obviously fell victim to Stellenbosch earlier in the campaign, but they have got the breakthrough in their fixture.
Topley's an interesting substitution for the side and white as well. Goal scorer yesterday, but he's playing in a deeper role. They've put him almost in a central midfield position. So I think there might be some eyebrows raised about that.
Austin. Samade. George King, who has had a good impact for Palace defensively and offensively. Really good passer of the ball from deep. And he's got an aerial duel here, which he wins. Well brought down by Samade and on by Williams, who picks it up again. Benamar. And now Casey for Williams. Nice intricate passing this from Palace. Casey will just be beaten to that one, gives away the free kick in the end, but really solid defending. Just shepherded out.
Yeah, no, super from Sistri. Again, him and Tylon have created such a good partnership across the 3 days here, and they're going to play to their advantages again today. And when you're trying to match them in a physical battle, these two are going to come out on top every single time. So Palace need to think of something different.
Yeah, this is a must-win game for Palace. Draw won't be enough.
They won't be unhappy with the way they've started, though, Ben, don't you think?
Yeah, well, this is the toughest assignment for them this week. With all due respect to the Indian sides, they didn't put up as much of a fight as we've seen from Stellenbosch. Clearly have the quality. to match. Here's White. And Casey at the near post. Again, defender stayed tight to him. Tylon, who has recovered from his injury a moment ago and made an important intervention.
Yeah, no, that's a really dangerous cross and a brilliant run by Casey too across the front post there. So Tylon had to be switched on, and as he is always, he does the job.
In swinger from Benimar, almost down Walker-Smith. These second balls are of importance because Stellenbosch are threatening on the counter, but that's a free kick in a dangerous position for the foul on Gibbard.
Yeah, no, really good corner, I think, and if they keep putting in deliveries like that, Palace, there's a chance that they could score from one. But no, it was a reckless foul, I think, unnecessary, and it's provided them a really good chance to put the ball in the box once again, and they've got some height in there too. Scored from a set piece already, I think, this tournament, Ben.
Indeed, and it's Dashi standing over it. They've had a few routines up their sleeve in these situations, so you wonder what they might come up with here, or whether it will just be a shot on goal from the number 10. Benimar also in the mix.
It's a small wall.
And it goes all the way through, and Benimar just swiped at it as it came across the 6-yard box, tried to really rifle it into the net, went for pure power and completely miskicked it.
What about that for a miss? Unfortunately for Benimar, that was a golden opportunity. He's just missed it, the ball. He must have taken his eye off it or something. He didn't need to go for such power. He had an open goal at his feet. He's going to be kicking himself.
Might be another chance here, though. The clearance is up. Goalkeeper had some thinking to do, and he almost parried it right into the path of Benji Casey.
Nervous moments here for Stellenbosch. They want to get a bit of a foothold back in the game like they had before the water break. But Arshin, at least he recovered from his mistake. But Sistri didn't really help out his goalkeeper either. Just need to watch the ball here as the sun's coming out a bit more.
And the effort that time is blocked from Philander. Chance at both ends in the space of a few seconds. Casey going up, and that's going to be a foul against Sebastian Williams as they both went for it.
Yeah, that's a painful one, but good on Williams. Checks on his man immediately. Andreas not really got any bad blood about that. It's a 50-50 and both entitled to go to it. So thank God the player's okay, but this chance as well, Sistri providing it for Crystal Palace with a missed kick a couple of times now, and then to be honest, we see how crucial or how effective a counter-attack can nearly be with the way they recovered and just used the quick rollout by Arshin.
Here's the major. Using the width that they like to operate with. That's away though by Benimar, and a chance to turn here for Gibbard, who's evaded the challenge, and a bit like Benimar a moment ago, completely missed his kick and unable to capitalise Stellenbosch. Living a little bit dangerously, but Palace maintain control. Dashi, who's dropped a bit deeper to collect it there, gives away the free kick.
That's what Stellenbosch do so well. They force you back, they force you back. You think you've got options going forward, and then you're isolated, and you're forced to run with the ball a little bit. All avenues cut off, and when you've got Sistri, Tylon, or Andreas chasing you down, the odds don't tend to be in your favour.
Well, half a dozen Stellenbosch players are getting ready to come on. It's the biggest cavalry I've seen this week. The substitutions all in one go.
This has been a theme though of Stellenbosch, and it's because of how hard they work off the ball as well as on the ball that they're probably forced to make these changes. You just kind of hope it won't weaken the squad as well when making so many swaps in so many positions, because it can be unsettling.
Ahmed takes the armband. The format does allow for a lot of opportunities to change the momentum. You know, you got the drinks breaks, you got the roll-on, roll-off subs, which you can make as many as you like. And we've seen in this game, both teams have small periods where they're on top. But particularly Palace in the last few minutes, they've had the best chances. Both Benamar and Casey going close. Firm challenge there as Dashi emerges with it, and Casey is on his bike. And he has got to it here, Casey. And he gets it onto his right foot and goes down under the challenge, but it was a fair one. That one isn't.
Yeah, it's a bit cynical, just showing their frustration. They thought maybe they should have a penalty. What a tackle that is from the centre half. Pele. Oh, it's just beautiful, and that's what you love. Last-ditch tackling at its best. They've not had to do a lot of that this tournament, but at least they show they've got it in their locker, Stellenbosch.
Yeah, it was a great run from Casey. He was just so eager to get it onto his right foot. I think that was telegraphed by Pele, who's perhaps done his homework on the Palace forward. Had to be timed to perfection, the challenge.
Yeah, you thought Casey got away from him, didn't you? But no, excellent recovery there. Casey deserves as well a lot of praise for making the run, splitting that defence in half.
Rather like that. The flag does go up though. Stellenbosch's turn to have players make those runs in behind.
Yeah, right on cue, eh?
Yeah, Avontur, who did have a rest, now ready to make those sprints again. And they're going in strong that time, Ahmed. Some interesting battles all over the pitch.
All the players popping up all over the pitch, really helping out their team in any way they can, and this is really a team game match today. You're going to need every single one of your players to be on top form.
White. And now Samade. Goalkeeper just swiped at that one. Just put under a bit of pressure from the back pass and ended up being a clearance that barely made it halfway towards the halfway line.
Yeah, for Stellenbosch is really past. That shows a little bit of a drop off in tempo and press for their standards.
Another foul. A bit surprised that that has gone the way of Stellenbosch though, and I think Gibbard felt the same.
Yeah, it looks like it's for an earlier foul just before the sliding challenge. Perhaps to get a let off.
To say I'm enjoying watching Stellenbosch go toe to toe with the Premier League outfit. Lots of strong tackling, all very fair.
He likes trying that, Ahmed. He wants to gain as much of an advantage as possible, but the referees haven't quite been in his favour when trying that. And credit the referees for doing so. They've been brilliant this tournament.
Yeah, we've seen red cards and penalties awarded throughout the competition.
Yeah, not afraid to make those big decisions, are they?
Yeah, as much as this is about the next generation of players, the same can be said for the officials, even us commentators, Ollie.
Who knows, who knows? We can just do our job, can't we? And enjoy the spectacle of the game we're watching in front of us.
Yeah, this has been an interesting contest. It is goalless, but very watchable. 0-0 thus far.
Both sides are starving each other for opportunities, though, aren't they? I'm sure that's going to be really growing in the minds of the players and perhaps become a bit more rash, a bit more reckless and impetuous with their decision-making.
Tyler White the target for that long ball, but it's too long for the right back.
Well, they have to beat the press some way, and it feels like the long ball is their only option. At least that's how they believe this case is. But as you say, King has got a really good pass on him when it comes to floating it into his strikers. Eventually it's going to pay off in this match as well.
Casey. Now White, and just see down below us Enrique Lameras warming up. I wonder if he might be introduced at some stage. He registered a goal and an assist yesterday, and a couple of his colleagues after the match did anoint him the player of the match, so they do need to unlock the door in the second period. He might be one to do it.
How you done?
Yeah, no, interesting as well the way the two managers have decided to use the roll-on, roll-off substitutions. Stellenbosch definitely favouring the multiple switches and utilising their bench. Perhaps Palace, the more passing team, worried it will interrupt their flow. But it looks like legs may get tired when you're trying to run away as well as chase. It's such a dynamic and swift team such as Stellenbosch. We're just seeing again the little bit of tension building between the two teams as there's a little tussle going on, but the referee's quick to sort it out, as he has been throughout the game. He's not letting this boil over, Ben.
Plenty forward for this deep free kick. Unable to get enough on it though. Allows Stellenbosch to come out. And it goes all the way back to the keeper in the end. Disappointing, we weren't able to make more of that. Gibbard doesn't get the decision and he pleads with the linesman to no avail. Just a couple of minutes to go until half-time. Does look as though we'll be all square going into the break, which is probably a fair reflection of the flow of the game. Suspect both managers will be reasonably happy. Here's a chance though, and it is almost bent into the far corner. Took it beautifully in his stride there, Aventure.
Well, that all comes from originally the little passing move working Palace out of position, and it allowed Aventure to find that space as his man just lost him. But that's what Aventure had been doing all game so far when he'd been on this pitch. He's now moved over to the left, and it seems to have been a better position for him. And White really struggled to keep up with the man who managed to cut into his right foot, which is what he's been trying to do. And perhaps he could have done a bit better with that attempt, but no, really, really nice effort. Had to think on his feet early, but he knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and that's as close as Stellenbosch have come. Probably not as clear a chance as the one that fell to Benamar for Crystal Palace, but both sides now can say they've had at least an opportunity to break the deadlock. What's been a very closely contested group fixture.
No, certainly. The keeper looks worried there, Hill. Scrambling a little bit.
White, unable to keep that one in. Half-time whistle not too far away now.
It's a good end to the first half, and and second part of the first half, perhaps what's confused me, for Stellenbosch. Been on the ball a lot more.
Ashi. And that one is seen out for a corner. Yeah, you can really break this game up into parts. You've got the drinks breaks in each half, so you can almost treat it as 4 quarters. Many of the managers doing just that with their substitutions. Different rotations for each sector of these 25-minute half matches. Goalkeeper went to claim, got a touch on it. In the end, it was enough. AC just looking to turn his man, but Stellenbosch able to clear their lines.
We were a bit endangered there, Ben. But no, Ahmed has to be stronger in those situations and claim that with more authority, because if he spills 1 or 2 more of them, Crystal Palace are eventually going to take advantage of it. And you never want to be at fault for the goal your team concedes, regardless of the magnitude and significance of a match.
And that does bring an end to really intriguing first period here at Bodymore Heath between Crystal Palace and Stellenbosch, 2 unbeaten sides in the Next Gen Cup, and Benamar had a real opportunity for Palace early doors, and just towards the end their aventure went close for Stellenbosch, but goalless feels about right. Ollie?
Yeah, there haven't been an abundance of chances, but there have been good ones. That's one thing you can say, and neither side are really used to going into the break goalless either. Stellenbosch and Crystal Palace both leading each time they've been in this position. So it will be interesting to see how it affects their minds.
Crystal Palace obviously need the win here if they're having any plans of reaching that final. Stellenbosch know their fate. Do you think that will result in a slightly different dynamic in the second half with Palace chasing the 3 points?
Not at all. I don't think. You've got to consider we're still in a competition. Every match is competitive. They're competing with each of the other 7 teams as well to finish on as many points as possible. Regardless of whether you finish your group, you want to say I've been the best throughout the tournament. It doesn't matter if you've got to the final and won it. That's not all that matters here. The trophy is important, of course, but it's your individual performances, your team performances that you can look back on the Premier League YouTube channel and say to yourselves, for the coach to point out, look what you managed to do in this situation. It doesn't have to be intense all the time. It doesn't have to be every single stake on the line.
Yeah, we've heard from some of the staff at Everton yesterday talking about how they decided to bring mostly under-18s to this competition, as it was a lot of new players that have come in over the summer. They wanted to sort of gel them together, bring them away as a group of 20. Come here, play in a tournament, get to know each other. It's as much about that as it is lifting the Next Gen Cup. But it is something that means a lot to these players. They do want to lift silverware. You can see what it means to Stellenbosch, who have been very vibrant this week. All the overseas sides, in fact, have been really enjoying it, taking it all in, taking videos of the facility. They worked really hard to get here, prepared for it for a long time, and no surprise that they're showing that passion. Benji Casey, who's playing up front for Palace today, mentioned it in his post-match interview after the first game, that was the biggest difference, Ollie, between the opponents he's faced here and what he's used to facing in domestic action. It's the passion that the overseas sides are showing.
Well, yeah, it's perfectly exemplified, especially by the Stellenbosch side. but also by the Indian sides we've seen here. They all show it in their different ways. One, by the way they stick to their formation, the discipline they hold. When watching Punjab FC especially, I saw that. They really just want to wear your team down, and that was one thing probably English sides haven't been used to. That shows the commitment and the dedication, obviously, to your team, to your local fan base, and to your fan base across the world. Of course, the Indian Super League is really, really growing, as well as football in India altogether, and the English fans are being treated to some of that. Here you had Mutu, who loves to play quick football. They like to move the ball fast, and they're going to chase every cause. But Stellenbosch, they have it all. And I think that's why they're doing so well in their group amongst all the international sides. And that's perhaps why Crystal Palace are struggling so much. They've played the two types of football, the two types of passions individually, but when combined, it makes us a much more stronger and resolute force to be on the opposite end of. So Crystal Palace, they really need to show another gear, another level here, and show why English teams themselves have such a high status.
Yeah, this is a very different test for them compared with their first couple of fixtures. And we are only going to see English teams versus overseas teams throughout the duration of this competition. All the group fixtures involve a Premier League side against either Stellenbosch or one of the Indian outfits. And the same will be true of tomorrow's playoffs and final. The best English side will take on Stellenbosch, who have already racked up enough points across Thursday and Friday to ensure they will be at Loughborough University Stadium, and Crystal Palace are the ones that have got the best chance of finishing above Everton, who are in action later on.
Well, that's exactly it, Ben. You've put it perfectly. They're playing against international opposition, but that goes for both sides, because obviously the South African side and the Indian sides are playing against English teams, and that's why every match does matter to them. That's why the dynamic isn't going to change. As much as this tournament itself is an opportunity to win a trophy, is a great experience for the sides, but it's also a learning experience each match you play against the international sides. So they want to make the most of each one, because it's so finite and so rare for them to get this opportunity. You're not going to let the points tally, perhaps the implications of where you already are in the context of the matches, affect this, especially if you're mentally strong sides. And as these sides are, they're all dedicated to the cause of football. They're all dedicated to the cause of improving themselves, the coaches improving their teams and improving their reputations. So there's going to be no feigning here in quality, and no feigning or dwindling in quality nor in determination. So I think we're going to see the same and the more, or more of the same, I should say.
No, we're certainly seeing more of the same in terms of the personnel by the looks of things, especially from a Palace perspective. Been reluctant to use their bench thus far, but I wonder if that will change later on as they go hunting for that opening goal, which Tottenham found on pitch one.
At least the Palace bench got to have a little bit of a kick around in the half-time break. You just saw them playing the ball around the penalty area that right now Stellenbosch are going to defend in the second half. But I'm sure they're hoping to play within the 25 minutes that are actually timed.
Benji Casey will be itching to get himself on the score sheet. He's done everything but score in regulation time. Provided a lovely assist for the Mirash yesterday, and he's been willing, making those runs, which he does straight from the off here. He's already up for this challenge. And into the centre from Benamar, but it's cut out. And here's Bailey. And what a lovely pass that was into Aventure. The flag does go up, but that was very delicate. as the two Stellenbosch attackers combined?
Well, we thought it was a great start from Crystal Palace, but Stellenbosch have matched that and gone one better nearly. Avonte couldn't hold his run, unfortunately, for the South African side. Bailey did so well when he picked the ball up in the centre circle to drive into the space and get his head up at the crucial moment. I think the pass was played at the perfect time. Avonte just on the wrong side, though, of his marker. But great save from Hill. He weren't to know.
Yeah, it was sloppy in the first instance from Benamar. Not the ball you want to be playing across the middle of the park, and Stellenbosch were quick onto it and almost punished. Referee just having a word with Austin by the looks of things.
Yeah, you don't want to see any more red cards, especially before the last game of the tournament. No one wants to miss that for at least disciplinary issues. So I'm sure the referee also feels that way. These are young players, of course. They're going to relish and benefit from as much opportunity and experience as they get on these pitches, on this stage. So you want to be on that pitch as much as possible, and you can only do as much as you can.
That's worked wide and across the face. It was only yellow shirts, though, in the 6-yard box.
Much more comfortable for Hill this time. But no, really good 1-2 play along the right-hand side for Stellenbosch. I'm sure Ahmed wished he could get a little bit more height on that cross. But still plenty of time in the game.
Surprised maybe there weren't any Stellenbosch players busting a gut to get into the 6-yard box there from that cross.
Yeah, perhaps they may have been caught a bit off guard as well, expecting maybe the ball to go to the back stick. I'm not too sure. They just weren't on the same wavelength there. But yeah, no, the likes of Topley and Palace need to do a little bit better when there's opportunities to arise next time.
That's given away. Here's Williams. Now White, who we're going to get a better look at on this near side, as Williams tried to step over there and he was outnumbered, and that can set Aventura on his way. Staying tight to it is Samade. Palace very tenacious in the press, winning the ball back.
Good positioning there from Austin.
Williams takes his time. Not afraid to do that, Williams. Samade beat into that, and here's Bailey. Stellenbosch get the decision, much to the annoyance of a couple of those Eagles players.
They wanted to make their voices heard there as well. But the referee is staying strong to his decisions here.
Away by Williams, and Casey was just looking to get away from Sishi, who pulled him back. Really smart running from Casey.
He showed that a lot this game so far and throughout the tournament, and I think Sistri just thought this time, I'm not willing to chase. I'll pull it back early, allow my team to drop back and help me out, because Casey's a real handful, and it's something Sistri and Thailand, but right now Pale haven't faced so far.
It was another covering defender, but Sishi was taking no chances. Here's Casey again, being a nuisance. Well worked out here to White, who crosses first time. Low ball across the 6-yard box with Dashi getting close to it, but it is dealt with.
Yeah, no, a bit better there from Sistri clearing the danger, but the warning signs are beginning to build for both sides now. I don't know what was said at half-time by the coaches, but it must have been quite inspirational, because we've had a really exciting opening 5 minutes to the second half.
Lads, he's dizzy. Can we just double check? He just said he's dizzy. He just said he's dizzy. Can we get some treatment, some check? Yeah.
Bit of concern here, Ben.
Yeah, the referee just alerting the Crystal Palace bench that Wonder if it's Tyler White that's feeling a bit dizzy over there.
It's a hot day. That's got to be taken into consideration. You can hear maybe just questions of maybe a bit thirsty, a bit parched. They're not quite sure of the cause, but we're hoping he's okay.
Yeah, he's still on his feet, Tyler White. Referee did a good job alerting the staff to it rather quickly.
The Palace staff do look like they want him to continue. They're not showing as much concern as the referee, but I'm sure White knows best in this situation. You don't want to come off at any time in this competition. But unfortunately, it might have to be. But of course, there's always the chance he can come back on because of the roll-on, roll-off.
Yeah, it does look like they will make an adjustment.
Yeah, no, it should be coming imminently. It's a real blow. It's a real blow. But Moana looks like the guy who is coming on to replace him.
Yeah, Marjoram would be the natural replacement. Doesn't look to be entering the fray anytime soon, so we'll wait and see as White continues to get treatment.
Yeah, forensic examination here, and you like to see it. I think everyone at home is quite relieved to see how much care and attention White's receiving, because it is a worry whenever it's something to do with the head or brain comes into play here. But I'm also really sure the Crystal Palace players are going to be a bit disheartened by this if he is to come off. There's always going to be confidence in every player in this squad. But he's been really, really important so far to their game. And he's been exceptional as well in all that he's done, defensively and offensively. And it seems like he's just finally getting a chance to show his attacking ability rather than chasing back the likes of the Major, Bailey and Avontir. So it's come at a really bad time for the player. But hopefully Moana can fill his shoes.
Yeah, it would be a different threat offered from him. On the right-hand side, White got forward pretty well at times in that first period. Had some defensive work to carry out as well, and he's walking slowly back to the bench and having a few conversations with the coaches as the ball comes into the box. And it's Benamar who went with his head. I think that's going to be a penalty. Benamar was brought down, and it was a high foot as well. Just bundled him over. Bravery from the left back. I think the referee had no choice.
Yeah, Ahmed's in disbelief here. He can't believe it. He thought his side and himself were making a fair challenge there, but the boot was just deemed too high by the referee. And I think probably the right decision when you're endangering a player like that, raising your boot to the ball and the player is dipping low with his head. You've actually got two players and you don't know which one's made contact there, but at least the player's okay. We've just had one head injury, you didn't want another. But this is a golden opportunity for Casey.
He's confidently struck his penalties in the shootouts thus far. Benji Casey looking to get off the mark during a game. Which he doesn't. It's saved onto the post. Still not clear though. And it's another brilliant block. And look at the celebrations as if they've scored a goal, Stellenbosch, but Benji Casey was denied.
That's a superb save from the goalkeeper. He's substituted goalkeeper, actually. What a way to have your first involvement in the tournament. Ben to keep his side in this one. And what a phenomenal save.
Absolutely extraordinary moment. Never seen celebrations like it, but it's almost as if the second block was more difficult than the initial save. Unbelievable passage of play.
Yeah, Stellenbosch as a whole team defending really well there. But the goalkeeper's the real hero whenever the penalty is saved.
Incredible.
It's a good strike as well from Casey. So you have to feel for him. The goalkeeper just beating him in that battle.
Ashi ghosting in. Wonder if that incident might just set this game alight a little bit. Benamar, who won the penalty and also had a chance in the first half to open the scoring. That one's going to be too high, perhaps going to be kept in. No, Moana tried his best to just divert it back across the face of goal, but just too far ahead of him.
Casey just clapping his hands there in frustration, just letting it out. You hope that doesn't affect him as the game goes on, because he's been so pivotal in his side's attacks, just like this man.
Avontir has isolated Samade and left the ball behind.
Look at that work rate to get back into position to chase down the ball. He knows he's made the mistake, but he can't let the ball go away.
Flag up against Casey, who looks a frustrated figure, understandably.
Still can't believe he's missed the penalty. As you say, so confident in the penalty shootouts, but this one matters perhaps a bit more because he knows now what's on the line. Everton playing later, he needed to tuck that away.
That's going to come into the path of Topley, and the keeper is in no man's land. And fortunately for Palace, Moana was on the line to clear that one away. Goalkeeper was nowhere really. They want handball, it's cleared. It's getting a bit chaotic out there. Here's Bailey. Chikoro into the box, headed away only as far as Avontir, I thought, but it was intercepted before it reached Stellenbosch front man as the ball collides with our scaffolding.
He looks in some discomfort there, Chikoro now, just holding his shoulder, but we go back to this chance as well. It was a bit unnecessary, the shove, I think, but that's just the frustration from the captain showing. Topley looks like he lost the ball here, but he'd done absolutely incredibly to keep it alive for his side, and he's done everything right there, Plates. He's got the ball over the goalkeeper, who was caught in absolute no man's land. I think once he'd committed, he thought he couldn't retreat again. He thought he needed to keep applying the pressure, almost adopting the Stellenbosch attitude of play. But what defending from Moana. That was, I mean, Moana must be so proud of himself. We said how big a loss it could be for White to leave the pitch, but Moana's come up with a massive block there. This game's showing everything. But Avontir, again, really good in his battle. Bailey also. These Stellenbosch frontline players are really coming into the game now, and the Major being introduced just now as well spells even more trouble for this side of Crystal Palace.
Not what you think, I know.
A frantic few minutes here at Bodymore Heath. Williams just looking to get his foot on it and settle things down. And that's a bit astray there from Dashi.
Ahmed wants to get this ball in play as quickly as possible, but he is hindered by the bench of Crystal Palace just buying their team some time to get back into formation, as once you're run a bit out of position, this Stellenbosch team will cut you open within seconds, as we've just seen.
Enrique Lameras is getting ready to come on. Did wonder if that might be the decision from the Crystal Palace coaching staff. He was their best player yesterday.
Perhaps an interesting decision not to play him then in such a big game for them, won't you think, Ben?
Well, they have been rotating with a pretty much completely new 11 yesterday and back to the original 11 from Thursday today, so looking to give players a day off when they can, but Lameras is going to be called upon for these last 60 minutes, and no surprise there. Wearing number 16 today, he was number 19 yesterday.
Well, of course, no names on the back of the Crystal Palace shirt, so that just allows them to switch and mix and match.
Makes our life difficult, but what can you do?
I didn't want to say it. But I wonder, are they all fighting over the number 7 in the dressing room? How are they deciding it? A game of rock, paper, scissors, perhaps? Or splat?
Miras getting involved straight away with the press. And they can really box Stellenbosch in here, Palace.
Parsman's looking really confident in goal for only playing now, what is it, 9 minutes of this tournament. He's spraying those passes as if he's been the number 1 all tournaments.
Plenty of space here for Slade to gallop into. What a bragging right it would be for Stellenbosch if they could come away having beaten all of the English sides. They're currently unbeaten. Here's the Major. Looking for the return on the edge of the box. Palace had plenty of bodies back. You could throw a towel over about 8 players there.
Nice analogy there.
Here's the Major again. Gets the cross in left-footed, but doesn't get it right.
Mwana's got a new challenge on his hands though here, and he is struggling. So did White though in the first half alongside Samays. But they need to really clue up quickly because the Major's not going to be taking any time to get involved in this game, as he's shown. And once the opportunity presents itself to play that pass to get the shot away, he's going to take it, and you've got to be there to block it. And the open game really benefits his play, as long as he manages to stay on side, which Avontier did a couple times, but he looked dangerous.
Again, it's the Major that's the target, but Warner cuts that one out. Rare loose touch from Miras. Perhaps the momentum just changing again, this time in Stellenbosch's favour. They wonder if that missed penalty might spark something like this from them. The reaction was unbelievable.
Well, they've definitely been on top since the penalty miss.
Here's the Major again. Instruction seems to be to get the ball to him by hook or by crook at the moment. Worked inside, out it goes, and delivered into a decent area, and it's glanced in at the back post by Ahmed, who gives Stellenbosch the lead. And just look at those celebrations.
Well, if anyone has deserved a goal this tournament, I'd have to argue a strong case for Ahmed, and he's finally got it. He's been so good defensively, but somehow finds himself in the middle of the box, but at just the right time. And what a brilliant cross this is from the right-hand side, where he is so used to being from Slade, and he's going to be so happy to help out his teammate and his captain get on the score sheet. You'd expect Major, Topley, Plates, one of those men to be in the centre of the box, but they will draw to the front post. But this main man in this South African side, he knew where the ball was going to land. He knew where to be, and he definitely knew how to head that home. He found the bottom corner perfectly, stretching with a diving header. But it's a goal we all love to see, and that is why we love football, Ben.
Unbelievable moment. Such a clever header at the back post. They had been probing. That delivery was perfect, and just getting ahead of his man, Ahmed.
Yeah, Hill had no chance. And unfortunately, it is Mwana's who struggled to really keep up with the tempo of the game since the changes have been made, in particular the Major. And he's just struggled here with Ahmed. I don't know, maybe he was caught in between two minds, whether to mark Ahmed, whether to mark the Major. He knows how dangerous the Major can be. And perhaps instruction was, keep your eye on your man. But he wasn't given much help by his centre halves either. King just drawn out of position by the approaching, nearing runs of the post in front of him. But Hill was also just left with no chance from such close range. There was no way he was going to save that. And it was all in the cross. All the power was in the cross. All anything Ahmed could want for was provided by his right back. And he's loving it. He's absolutely loving it. And that's their third goal of the tournament. And they are pretty good at holding on to 1-0 leads, Stellenbosch.
I just love those celebrations. And having commentated on pitch 1 for the first couple of days, I didn't get a chance to see Stellenbosch, but I certainly heard the celebrations when they scored their goals, and every single member of the bench sprinted towards Ahmed to congratulate him. Really special moment as they look to make it 3 wins from 3.
Yeah, no, well, we spoke about passion, didn't we? And Crystal Palace talked about that passion. That was so different to what they're so used to seeing, and yeah, they've witnessed it there in its purest form. And the Ramirez there just to lay and kick off himself, really.
Yeah, the clock does stop in those situations, so no damage done in that regard, but what a moment that was.
Straight back on the ball as well this side. They want a second, they can taste blood.
If Palace can't turn this around, they will cancel any plans of heading to Loughborough. They'll be playing here tomorrow in one of the playoffs. Stays like this. Everton on 8 points, knowing that a win for them would have secured their place in the final anyway, but Palace dropping points just makes their life even easier as the Major picks it up, and he was looking for the run there of Keenan over the top.
Found himself in a bit more of a defensive position that time, a lot deeper in the pitch, but he doesn't care. He just wants the ball at his feet. And that's the press again at its best. Crystal Palace can't deal with it anymore.
And another rapturous celebration from the bench below us as it was given away, put out for a corner.
Well, before the substitutions that look to be made by Crystal Palace are made, Stellenbosch are wanting to get this second goal, aren't they? Completely see Palace out of it, because that would be really, really difficult to come back from.
Into the box, and another header was flicked on, and it just bounced off Philander in the end and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Philander had no idea where the ball was coming from, but that was another brilliant cross. And a really good header as well. This is something they must have been practicing over the last 24 hours, because it's part of the game we haven't seen from Stellenbosch in this tournament so far, but really utilising their crossing ability in this match.
The Major was pat down there by George King, perhaps a little bit of frustration. I think the referee will take his name.
Well done. Well done to Stellenbosch there. They didn't lose their heads. Of course, Major has ended up in a heap, and that's a real shame to see. He looks in slight discomfort, but I'm sure he'll be okay. It is just a knock. These things are part of football. But yeah, we've seen in the past 2 games, they'd react to that, and that is part of the passionate side of their football, of their personalities, and of the real charisma that they bring of the South African football to England and to Crystal Palace it is today. But yeah, they stayed astute, they stayed strong mentally, and they can't afford to lose their heads. I think potentially conceding that penalty may have softened them a little bit when it comes to confrontation, because they're aware of the consequences there can be now.
So Caleb Redhead is going to be the man tasked with trying to get Palace back into this. He played up front yesterday, came off what looked like a knock with about 10 minutes to go, but good enough condition to be introduced today. And that's another one for Hill to think about, just over the top of his bar though.
Yeah, he looked confident. that it was always going over, and it was always going over. But it was an interesting decision made by the set-piece taker. Thought maybe he could catch Hill out. You see it happen, and these are ambitious players. We've seen a couple of halfway line attempts as well by them just in the first game against Tottenham. So they're not going to shy away from any opportunity.
When it comes to the major, that one's just too high for him.
But again, just trying to get the ball up the pitch. The thinking's probably, well, they can't hurt us if they're in their own half. And that seems like the aim to do for this Stellenbosch sides. Bit of confusion here. It seems over these substitutions. No Palace player really wanting to leave the pitch.
Yeah, looks like the Miras is going to move more central as Dashi is withdrawn.
Alongside Walker Smith too. Suggesting a bit more attacking now. That's the message coming across to the Crystal Palace players. And I can imagine what Stellenbosch are hearing is more space to play in. And they'll be licking their lips.
Casey. Now two out-and-out centre forwards on the pitch for Palace in Casey and Redhead.
Casey wants more of that ball now as well. He hasn't really seen it since the penalty miss, and he needs to get his confidence back up, whether for this game or the playoff match tomorrow.
And, well, the header from King just didn't have enough on it. Just glanced it wide. That was an opportunity.
No, big one, and it's a good cross again. We've seen quite a few of them in this game. I don't know if the breeze is maybe helping them just a little with keeping it in the air that slight bit longer, allowing players to get to the right positions.
The Major might get to this. He does, and he cuts it back, and between the goalkeeper and the defender, they avert the danger.
Good goalkeeping, but you just hear it below us. The manager just telling his players of Stellenbosch, more angle, more angle. We want to get that ball cut back to our player. We don't want it going into the palms of the goalkeeper. We're only 1-0 up. That doesn't matter. We need to be 2, we need to be 3, we need to be 4. They want to show that they can score multiple goals in a game, not just create multiple chances. And that is about the clinicality I spoke of earlier. And there's definitely going to be more chances as this game unfolds. 10 minutes and Palace are looking to get their goal to equalise, and they're second to win it.
Here is the goal scorer, Ahmed. And now, Bell. Redhead looking to pressurise Thailand, but he's very calm and composed. Andreas. And that had to be headed away, but danger still needs to be dealt with. Lamiras does get it away.
Plates needed to do better there.
That's flicked on nicely by Redhead. And Benamar is fouled. You wondered if the ref was going to let that go.
No, right decision by the referee. Caught him. Plates just a bit over-eager to win the ball back after perhaps his earlier mistake on it. But just keep their heads, stay calm, don't make any silly errors that could allow Palace to get back into this game.
Freddie Cowan has replaced Dean Benamar, a like-for-like switch. And he's very high up the pitch there. Cowan, another one of the full-backs or wing-backs that needs no second invitation to get forward.
Strong goalkeeping there. Perhaps what Arshin could maybe take a lesson from, as he struggled a bit when pressed by the strike force of Crystal Palace. And who knows, maybe Pillman is thinking, well, if I show myself to be really good in this match in the 25 or so minutes I'm given, maybe I'll get a chance in the final. I'm sure that's what the aim is.
Tendon Bell, really well played from him to Ahmed. Strong tackle, fair one from George King that time.
Ahmed just raised his hand. He didn't realise he had a man behind him chasing that course. Stitched his man up a little bit there.
Foul throw given there against Ahmed.
We're seeing passion from Crystal Palace now, aren't we? That they spoke of the international sides. Perhaps that's what they've learnt from this tournament so far.
The intensity of Stellenbosch has been a huge factor. They celebrate every little moment. They're crowding around the referee here.
The referee's just got to keep a lid on things here. It's an advanced starting position from Passman as well.
Ahmed wins the header. Won't be able to keep it in though.
I mean, these kind of situations where the ball is out of play doesn't benefit anyone.
Yeah, I think instincts took over there with Ahmed just wasting a bit of time, perhaps forgetting that the clock had stopped. The Miraz going up. Away it goes from Tylon.
Of course, who else?
One back there by Austin. And the touch from Cowan is going to run away from him.
Can't be doing that. Need to be more composed, but that's really good from Passman at the same time. Read the danger, was off his line very quickly. I think he's really got a point to prove here, being starved of minutes. And that is because Arshin's kept obviously 2 clean sheets. So deservedly so, Arshin kept his place in the squad. But no, this back line looked a bit more vulnerable against the Palace side, who've shown themselves to be really prolific goal scorers in the tournament so far themselves.
The aerial battle there for Casey and Ahmed, who is going to be penalised.
Yeah, no, just outmuscled there, Ahmed, and he tried doing all he could to win the ball back, or at least slow his opponent down. He has to be careful though, you don't want to be getting a yellow card today, especially like we saw in the first game. It's so easy to turn a yellow into a red, as Patterson saw from Aston Villa in his first game Thursday. So yeah, Ahmed just needs to stay calm, lead by example as the captain of this young side. Although only an under-21 sides, many of their players are of the ages of 19, 18, very similar to Crystal Palace, making it that much more even. Did what you have to do there. Passman covered that near post really well. He never really looked to be in too much danger, but of course always worth the attempt there by Austin to catch the goalkeeper out when he's least expecting it. And at least he got it on target.
Delivery is a difficult one for the keeper to deal with. It's going to come from Williams. And it took a nick off his own man, I think. Casey in by Cowan and headed goalwards, but over the bar.
That's a really good move there from Crystal Palace, and hopefully this just gives them a bit of mojo. We saw what a couple chances did for Stellenbosch, and it eventually resulted in a goal, but this is really good. Really good from Crystal Palace. They just continued with the move. They didn't let it stammer or stutter. It was fluid, and you can see how frustrated the centre-half of Crystal Palace is there that he couldn't get it on target. But remarkable defending on the line there. Passman, perhaps his height hindering him a little bit, dealing with that high cross surrounded by such big players, both his teammates and the Crystal Palace. But he's been bailed out there by some really, really good defending, and that makes it 1-1 in terms of goal line clearances.
Yeah, there were a few Stellenbosch players on the line. It could have gone anywhere off Benji Casey from Sebastian Williams' strike. Looked like he was perfectly placed to slot that one home, but the scoreline remains 1-0 and the clock is ticking down. Only 4 minutes left for Palace, whose hopes of getting into the final are slipping away.
It's the biggest scare so far for Stellenbosch of the tournament.
Miras hasn't really been able to get into this one like he did yesterday. Operating more centrally in this substitute appearance as the flag goes up to stop Stellenbosch in their tracks. Again, they look to waste a little bit of time.
Yeah, just allowing themselves to get into that really solid formation that they've been so comfortable in for the most part of this tournament.
Ahmed getting back to do his defensive work, and the foul is given, and I think the Major will be a bit disappointed with that. He had so much room in front of him if the referee had spotted the advantage, but he pulls it back.
Yeah, he apologised, rightly so. Everyone makes mistakes, we're all human. But Major, yeah, slightly frustrated there that he couldn't probably start that counter-attack.
Casey not giving up.
No, not at all, and that's what they need to keep doing for the next 5 minutes, because that time is going to fly by for the players on that pitch and for the viewers, with so much on the line for this Palace side.
I mean, Stellenbosch might end up being the best ranked team of the whole tournament once we played all the group games, as Benji Casey kicks that one away, and that just shows the frustration. He looks disconsolate. He's missed his penalty, his team are behind, and he's not going to be playing at Loughborough tomorrow at this rate.
Well, Pele isn't going to be complaining about those kind of actions by the Crystal Palace player. The referee has just come over to him, pointed to his head, saying, don't lose it, you're still in this. And he has to take those words of wisdom on board, because this Palace side really need him.
The Major looking for the run of Philander, who was offside.
This high line of Palace, as they're trying to get back into the game, is really working, and I can't imagine it's intentional. But it's catching off this really, really quick front line of Stellenbosch, and they're going to be frustrated with themselves.
Up by Williams, but it's Stellenbosch ball, and looks like they're going to see this out of this rate as Samade and Philander have a bit of a scuffle on the halfway line. Palace players not used to defeat at the Next Gen Cup this week. Fully understand their frustrations. Referee just looking to keep a lid on it, as he's looked to do all game and done a good job of it.
Yeah, I think right now the players are getting a bit distracted from the football and more focused on the individual man. Good spot there from the linesman.
That could turn out to be a lovely ball, and it is going to come out to the Major. The flag goes up again. It looked tight, that one, and you see the protests on the Stellenbosch bench.
Real annoyance there from Stellenbosch, but they can only have themselves to blame, as he is above the last man, or so the referee thought.
Redhead, he did manage to get something on it, but Stellenbosch survive, and they'll bring it out through Avontier, who's been everywhere today, popping up in wide areas. He's almost in holding midfield there.
Yeah, he's loved having more minutes in today's game than he probably has had in past games, but no, he's making the most of that time on the pitch as well. It was really unfortunate.
Chance here to round it off, and if it wasn't for Marcus Hill, they might have done through Topley. Another chance presents itself, but that was an important block. Another shot comes in from Aventure, and that was high, wide, and not very handsome from Zenden Bell.
Yeah, that was just Bell being a bit impetuous, a bit impatient, but a series of chances here. Heroics from the goalkeeper, heroics from King. Really, really good last-ditch defending from the English side, but plenty to take forward here from Stellenbosch, and they're in the position they want to be in these closing minutes of this match in the final game of the group stage.
Yeah, in the dying seconds, Benji Casey's been taken off. He did miss a penalty, of course, at the start of the second half, and he won't be taking one in the shootout. David Montgen will. Presumably that's why he's been brought on. The Major can't quite keep that one in play.
It's good to see Stellenbosch still focusing on their football though, despite the heat of the moment. Really good mental strength.
The Major, and look at the space that's opened up for Aventure, who's bearing down on goal. He still can't finish it though for Stellenbosch. Palace somehow survived that moment. It could have easily been 2-0.
I bet Andreas is wishing he left that to at least go out for the corner to relieve some of the pressure that Palace are going to mount. But Aventure, what an opportunity to put this game to bed and get the first 2-0 lead that Stellenbosch would have experienced in this game. But really good save again from Hill. He's been phenomenal in those one-on-one situations.
Yeah, you would have seen that bench erupt had that found the back of the net.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But great run from Aventure. He needs to keep doing that, like Major's done here.
And he's got runners to his right, 3 of them. And to his left is Philander. Great tackle there.
That's Bell more in his,
Bell.
yeah, that's Bell more in his element there. Just scraps, feeding off them and making sure the opposition do not pass.
Ball again coming towards us. Had to take evasive action a couple of times in this game.
We lost that one in the sun.
Referee letting it go. The Major gets the decision.
Yeah, that's going to be really annoying, and he's going to get the yellow card as well. Austin, he didn't need to talk back to the referee there. He committed the foul, listen to the referee's whistle and play on. But this is really where Stellenbosch want to be. They're creating chances, they're keeping hold of the ball, and the most important part, Crystal Palace can't string a pass right now.
Here's the Major. Ahmed just hoops it forward. Hill will look to launch an attack quickly. They need to get on with it, Palace.
He looked a bit too comfortable there because the wind could have carried that anywhere, but look, that's confident goalkeeping, and he's been superb this game. So there's no wonder. He was so comfortable.
Forward it goes. But Stellenbosch are first to everything, and the victory is confirmed. Stellenbosch have come to Bodymore Heath and won all 3 of their fixtures against the Premier League Academy sides by 1-0. Shakir Ahmed with the winner in the second half. And you will be seeing more of this side tomorrow at Loughborough University Stadium as they look to become an overseas winner, and who would bet against them?
Well, that's really positive stuff from the South African side, and rightly so. They are over the moon, and this is beautiful to see, isn't it? Despite the tension, despite the heat between the two sides on the pitch up until that final whistle, you see them congratulating each other. That's a mutual sign of respect right there, and that's why we love this game. It's the beautiful game for a reason. Ben and these two players are these group of players are demonstrating that perfectly. But there was obviously that one deciding goal, and that was Ahmed's goal from this wonderful delivery. The wind potentially helping it to reach Ahmed, but he had to do so much here as well to make sure he got to the ball with his head, and he's guided that as well. He makes it look so easy, but just to nod it into that bottom left-hand corner. And talking of left-hand corners, that's exactly what Casey tried to do with this penalty, but it was read all the way by Passman, and it was an incredible save. But not just that, you also had the clearance off the line following the penalty too, with some really, really strong defending in there to help Passman out. It was a team effort today by Stellenbosch. It was a team effort today by Crystal Palace. But the South African side shows why passion is so important to this game that we all love to watch and play. And they are over the moon with, as you said, these 3 wins.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be around this team, to watch them play. And that 1-0 victory was fully deserved. David Passman, what an introduction to the tournament for him. It wasn't just a penalty save, it was the difficulty of it. As we look at another opportunity that could have made it 2.
Well, yeah, Stellenbosch could have been 2-0 up, couldn't they? Just after such heartbreak from the penalty spot, but Moana performing as if he were a goalkeeper there, as if he was a natural-born diver. It was a really, really brilliant defensive clearance, and it's something he should be really proud of his performance for, because he came on, thrown into the deep end just as the game was beginning to pick up pace. Something that White didn't really have to deal with too much, but Moana really stepped up to the plate. But top league. And here you go. You've got a volunteer. He was so influential in this match. Ben, we couldn't stop mentioning his name constantly on the ball in all different areas of the pitch, and that's probably where he wanted to be. Of those 50 minutes, of those probably 50, 60 touches he'd had of that ball, that was the most important to him as an individual. But he was so good for the team as well today and everything that he did. But Hill coming up trumps in that one. Avonze just had to lift it a little bit more to get over the leg of Hill. And that's something you need to work on in training, maybe a little bit more when the pressure's off, and you can then apply it to the football games.
So the customary penalty shootout. Stellenbosch won the game, but as is the case with all the group fixtures in the Next Gen Cup, we will finish off with a penalty shootout for the bonus point. And if Palace had won this game, this would have carried a lot more importance. They would have needed it to increase their chances of reaching the final. But Stellenbosch, with Liam Slade, will kick things off in a brilliant way. Calmly dispatched. Stellenbosch haven't had much joy with these shootouts, Ollie, but that will get them off to a good start.
Excellent penalty. As you say, they haven't had much joy at all. But this is what the staff have been saying of Stellenbosch. We've been practicing our penalties, and that's just been displayed by Slades and really coolly taken. They haven't been the first to take, though, in either of their penalty shootouts. And as we've mentioned, the odds are always in the favour of the first team to take.
Cormac Austin look to level things up, and emphatically does.
Well, that's confidence personified. It's never easy to hit a powerful penalty, especially in high pressure situations like this. You're always prone to leaning back, but he's caught this perfectly. Body position absolutely perfect, and the goalkeeper really had no chance of saving that one, diving down to his right there and just not reading it correctly.
So Roy Keane Aventure, a standout performer throughout the game, could have had a goal to his name in the dying embers, but he'd certainly settle for a penalty now as he stares down the Palace goalkeeper and makes him wait.
The referee's growing a bit impatient.
Avantir scores, very similar penalty to the first, and these are confidently struck. They've got a real spring in their step here, Stellenbosch.
Yeah, after that long wait, we were made to endure, and the keeper was made to endure as well. Avantir finally slotted it brilliantly into the bottom left-hand corner. The goalkeeper had nothing to do really about that. He dived the wrong way, of course, but the power would have beaten him anyway. Avantir really showing what a good finisher he is. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to display that in the 50.
Enrique Lameras up next for Palace. Makes no mistake. Calmly bends it into the far corner.
Yeah, more composed penalty, perhaps than what we've seen so far. Didn't have to go for sheer power in that one. He knew he was going to beat the keeper. He beat him in the mind games, and he's managed to level it here. Really good finish as well from the young man.
So Cheswin Philander looking to keep up the perfect record in this shootout thus far for Stellenbosch. Looks like a straight run up. And again, it's the same corner, same result.
Yeah, Hill's frustrated. He's thinking, I need to stop gambling. Trust my guts. And it's so difficult to do as a goalkeeper in these penalty situations. But all credit to the goal scorer, the penalty scorer. They've really struggled from the spot. That was brilliant. Again from Philander, finding the corner with such aplomb and power. They just look so confident for a team that have already lost 2.
Sebastian Williams up next. And the Panenka is executed.
We'll talk about confidence. And he's just patted Passman as well on the back. Slight apology for the show of finesse in this penalty shootout, but Crystal Palace really want to win this, don't they? At least take a point. And they're doing that in style with this Williams penalty. So cute. That little dink, and all Passman could do was watch it go past him in slow motion.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was an apology or if there's a little bit of needle out there. We did see towards the end of the game, tensions rising. Palace understandably annoyed about the outcome as the Major, with his unique style, prepares for his penalty. And makes no mistake, this time Hill did guess the right way, but that was so accurate from the Major that it made no difference.
No, precision this time, beating the goalkeeper rather than power. He gambled, he went the right way this time, stuck to his guns, but Major's an elite footballer playing for the under-20s South African team, so he was never going to make a mistake from the penalty spot, and he's continued his perfect record in these 3 group stage matches, and he'll be really happy with that finish. Puts his team in a really good position.
Jerome Osei also converts brilliantly. That side of the net's taking a real battering.
I was going to say, Ben, these are some really powerful penalties, and I'm sure a goalkeeper doesn't really want to be on the end of one. But yeah, just a little stutter from the goalkeeper, and it allows the Crystal Palace forwards to get the ball into that bottom corner, and it was a really, really solid strike.
And these penalties are going to start to carry increased importance now. We are essentially in sudden death at 4-4. If one was to miss and the other was to score, it would be all over. Zenden Bell hits the bar. And that could be the invitation for Palace to at least get something out of this. Stellenbosch had been excellent from the spot with the first 4 penalties, but they're now big underdogs.
Wow, pressure back on Passman now. We spoke about the odds. Well, Stellenbosch aren't being favoured by them this time. It wasn't the best of penalties.
So George King to earn Palace a point. They would have liked more, but a chance to come away with something. And they will. George King rolls it into the bottom corner, and not too many celebrations from Palace. They've lost the game. They wanted 4 points this afternoon to pile the pressure onto group leaders Everton, but they'll have to settle for one, and they'll be involved in a playoff match here at Bodymore Heath tomorrow. But Stellenbosch have made it 3 from 3, lost all shootouts, but most importantly, they've topped the overseas group, Ollie, and we'll be seeing them at Loughborough.
Yeah, what a game, what a penalty shootout. Commiserations for Stellenbosch as they still struggle to find that elusive penalty victory. They just can't seem to do it in the big moments when it is just a single kick. But they're so good when it comes to teamwork, when it comes to playing alongside one another. They've got such phenomenal chemistry. But Crystal Palace can take something away from this at least. They've shown that they can finish from the penalty spots. And at the end of the day, it was, of course, only the one goal, and they weren't exactly short of chances either. It was just the defensive heroics of Stellenbosch, the goalkeeping heroics from Parsman as well, that prevented them from scoring so freely as they have done in the rest of the competition. So Palace can feel slightly unlucky, perhaps, with the end result, but take nothing away from Stellenbosch. They're the reason that they kept the clean sheet. They're the reason why they got that 1-0 win in the end. Crystal Palace weren't really controllers of their own fate in this match, and that's what Stellenbosch do. They boss games, they dominate with and without the ball, and that's what they're going to hope to do in the final now, isn't it, Ben?
Indeed, they will. And having won 3 games already, they'll fancy their chances, whoever they might face tomorrow, and it might be working out quite nicely if they do win this afternoon Everton, or this evening as it will be, a later kick-off. We will see a matchup that we've not seen before in Stellenbosch versus Everton at this event, so the South African outfit will have had the opportunity to play all 4 of the English sides that have entered this competition. Everton, of course, very strong yesterday in their 6-0 triumph. Stellenbosch have managed to keep their opponents out in all of their encounters so far, but Everton carry a lot of firepower. Of course, they aren't guaranteed their place at Loughborough yet. They've got to get the job done against Punjab. Aston Villa will do their best to get into the mix as they play East Bengal. So make sure you're with us, 6 o'clock UK time, for whichever fixture you choose to watch.
Yeah, plenty of smiles still across both teams, which is lovely to see. I think they're both aware how important this competition is, obviously, for every single person taking part, from the coaching staff to the referees to the players, because they all know there are eyes on them from all across the world, from all types of people, but they also recognise this is just a great day out for them, a great opportunity. They're on a broadcasting network of the Premier League, and so I think they can hold their heads high as well, just for making it to this stage.
Stellenbosch have really done their country proud, and hope all of you watching along from South Africa have enjoyed what you've seen from them, because we certainly have. Brought so much energy and vibrancy and flamboyance to the Next Gen Cup. And let's see if they can cap all of that off by lifting the trophy tomorrow. They fell short in a previous version of the event at the final stage, so looking to go one better. Crystal Palace will have to come again. Big season ahead, of course, at all levels of the club. It seems to be moving in the right direction. And even though they've suffered defeat today, there's been moments of brilliance. And we are ready with Grant Ibokwe, who is joined by Shakir Ahmed and David Passman.
All right, guys, it's Grana Bokwe and I'm pitchside at the Premier League Next Gen Cup 2024. I'm with two Stellenbosch heroes after their third victory out of 3 in the Next Gen Cup. Guys, talk to me. Please tell me your names first so that the people can know your names.
What's up, guys? I'm David Passman. I'm the Stellenbosch goalkeeper.
Hey guys, I'm Mohamed Shakir Ahmed. I'm the right back for Stellenbosch and the captain also.
Now, we had a penalty and we had a penalty save. You actually haven't got the chance to play in this competition, so it's not as if you had a lot of game experience in this competition, but you were in this game and you had to face a penalty and you saved it. Talk to me a little bit about that moment, how you was feeling, how your preparation came into play.
No, look, I knew I was going to come on this game. I didn't know when or how soon. Either if I was going to start the game or just come on in the second half. And then first action, team gives away a penalty, which is never great. But I sat up last night watching the 2 Crystal Palace games, the penalty shootout, and that same penalty taker took it in exactly the same spot that he did there. So I just picked my corner and went at it, and it just felt like it was meant to be. It was my first 25 minutes of the tournament, and yeah, it went perfectly. That's just a real big shout out to doing your homework, and because if you didn't watch the penalty shootout, you might not have known that, and you might have guessed the wrong way. So it's just a big shout out to sort of doing your homework and doing the work beforehand. But I'm gonna throw it to the captain now, right back, flying forward for most of the game, and then you scored a goal. Talk to me a little bit about how that comes about.
Yeah, so I started the game off at right back, but then I had to make a switch actually to left back. And then, yeah, our right back got the ball, right back to left back, full back to full back. I scored a nice, wonderful header down. And yeah, after this guy made a big save, you know, we were all full of confidence. So yeah, it's always nice to score the winner.
Scoring the winner in the final group game of the Next Gen Cup 2024 is an amazing feeling. I can only imagine. Talk to me just a little bit about how it feels for Stellenbosch to go 3 out of 3 wins in the group stage and find yourself in the final of the Next Gen Cup 2024.
No, look, you know, it's absolutely massive for South African football as a whole. Yeah, I think it just gives everyone confidence that we can do so much more than what we're doing right now. And yeah, I think it just gives everyone hope back home. And I'm so glad to be a part of that and that we're able to achieve something like that, something bigger than ourselves. So yeah, really, really great feeling.
Yeah, like he said, it's a massive achievement also for the club because, I mean, we've been to 3 Next Gens now and yeah, we've gone undefeated actually against all the Premier League teams. So yeah, we're hoping to keep it that way actually.
Now, I got to ask you a question. You're in the final of the Next Gen Cup. In the case, I don't want to jinx anything, but in the case that you do score a goal, I think here would be a beautiful time to pick a celebration. What celebration would you lot do if you do score a goal in the Next Gen Cup final?
Look, yeah, I think our go-to celebration is just everyone running at the line and tackling him.
Yeah, just tackling him. But I mean, maybe we could throw one of the Amapiano dances in there, you know?
Oh, if you could do an Amapiano dance, I would go. No, show. You have to no. Oh, you have to save it for the final. I'm getting ahead of myself. But we have actually been promising a Amapiano dance. If you don't do that, I'm jumping on the pitch to do it with you. Final question I need to ask you. I need you lot to help me pick a player of the match. For me, the 2 player of the matches might just be standing here, but who do you think deserves the player of the match?
Yeah, for me, I would say this guy because, I mean, it takes a lot to come off the bench as a goalkeeper and, you know, face a penalty as your first action and then make one big save to keep us in the game. And then, yeah, we ended up winning the game, so he's my player of the match.
Sure, now I guess I have to say him, right? No, look, I think it was just a combined group effort. We were all clearing balls and getting forward quickly and defending as a full 11-man, or full 18-man squad for the entire game. So I think it's just a big group effort, and yeah, we'll leave it up to the coaches to decide who the man of the match is.
Well, guys, very, very well done. 3 out of 3 wins. Congratulations. Go rest up, and you've got a big final tomorrow, man. I'm going to throw it back up to Ollie and the gantry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Grant, and thank you everyone who joined us for Stellenbosch's victory there over Crystal Palace, rounding off their group phase with a 3rd successive triumph, and they will be in the Next Gen Cup final tomorrow. But join us later on, 6 p.m. UK time, 2 more games for you here from Bodymore Heath. Until then, bye-bye.
And then after that, also, did you see how she always body down? And he knocked the ball away when Alright guys, kick time.